James is having some pasta sauce and rice and some oysters, and we're going to talk about Machine, Meet the Fockers, Inkheart, and the Book Thief. And it's funny because when I'm trying to remember movies' titles, I often get Inkheart and the Book Thief confused somehow, and they're very, very different movies. And these are part of our collection that we have.
Picked up on the cheap.
Yeah.
Not on the sly, just on the cheap.
Yeah, from a thrift store. And honestly, I'd forgotten a lot of Meet the Fockers. The only thing that I'd remembered was when the baby's first word, and
blank.
And then the brick in the windshield. That's the only two things that I'd remembered from the movie. So I'm glad that I watched it again.
Of course, we watched it over 10 years ago, I'd say, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, we've had a long time.
Date on that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so 10 years from now, we'll probably watch it again and enjoy it just as much.
Yeah, and then 10 years after.
We'll see what we remember from watching it now twice.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But we didn't review it back then, so we're going to do that now.
Yeah. And I guess we did. It's worth watching. It was fun.
Yeah, it's worth watching. Don't buy it. Do people even buy these things anymore?
I don't think so. You should be able to see
get
it
it
for
on
free
Netflix
on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's worth seeing. Ben Stiller is...
Well, he's never stiffed us.
disappoints.
He's
Yes.
never stiffed us.
Always
We have a
good.
different way of saying it, but we're saying the same
Yes.
thing, and it wasn't
So
scripted.
good.
So, yeah. He does different sorts of things. He plays basically the same role, which is to sit back and in wonder at how different people can be. Sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it's stupid, or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's just different. So,
well, I don't know. It's sort of a different... No, that's not always his role, because remember the one where he was a model?
okay, I forgot
That was very different.
Yeah,
It was
he'd be
Zoolander.
playing. There we go. So
So-
sometimes he plays the different person.
Yes.
Which is an indication that he's not, that he's got some degree of latitude in terms of acting. Yeah.
And I think he must be best friends with Owen Wilson, because we always see them.
Owen
together
put in
they
a
do
little
very
bit
well.
of, I don't think we have to do a spoiler alert on this, put in a little bit cameo appearance at the end.
It's nice the way we always see them in movies together.
Well, I
You
like
see
both of
one,
them. Yeah,
you're
it's-
thinking, oh, where's the other?
Yeah, exactly.
You know. So anyway, Inkheart, I've seen that quite a few times, and it's a good kids movie. It's a lot of fun that way. The bad guys are the people who burn books, so
Yeah, you know,
which
like...
is maybe why I get these two confused. The Book Thief and
they were
I don't
burning
know.
books and artwork in
Yeah.
Germany
So
in the 30s. I think they were burning people and stuff like that in the 40s, but it would have gone on if Hitler hadn't gotten too ambitious about destroying things and people.
But honestly, I mean, now most people, when they look back at this time period in hindsight and the times to come, they might understand a little bit better how people in Germany could carry on their lives and do whatever without, with what was happening behind some fences, right?
Or even in public.
Or
They
even
had the
public.
rallies, the midnight rallies or whatever, the
Yeah.
night rallies where they were burning artworks
Sure.
and literary work.
And it's not even very covert right now, what's going on, and people aren't gluing into it. And it's going to get worse.
So what happened
I
in the
don't know how to
in the
stop
30s?
it.
Pauline is right to draw this parallel. I'm afraid, there was an economic crunch in 1929, and it went on for 3 years, and then there was economic fallout in terms of the economy was recovering, but employment wasn't. This was worldwide. Same thing happened, only it wasn't as deep and as long-lasting. We're still seeing the unemployment. Well, up until very recently, we're seeing the unemployment thing trenching out, and then the employment figures recovered, and Trump was claiming credit for it and stuff like that. So that's the fallout from 1928. But what we've 2008, I should say. So what's happened that's similar to the 30s is this move to the right, move to the left, and the hollowing out of the middle. And so what was happening? Communists versus and anarchists versus each other to a certain extent in Spain, to a great extent in Spain, really. And then Nazis and fascists on the other side. Boom, bang, bing. And it led to the 40s. And what's happening now is, Antifa or Antifa, whatever you idiots call yourself, and wanting to duke it out with militias and Nazis and fascists and nationalists and all this sort of stuff, and vice versa. I'm not saying Antifa is the one that's generating it, although sometimes the cycle of violence can be, like it's you can get a bicycle to go just by pumping one pedal. That's what Hitler did with the Jews, for example. Was that a cycle of violence? Yeah, but it was the Jews weren't pumping it back in return. So, but right now there's a lot of, Antifa, militia stuff happening.
Well, there's that, but there's the extermination of the elderly.
Yeah,
which is occurring right now.
This is a response to lots of different things. Right wing and left wing, sort of garbage. I've heard this thing. Oh, it's no worse than the flu from Donald Trump, but also from at least one left winger. We were hearing it being squawked on CBC more times than was impressive.
And really, people are being encouraged to go out and spread it around. It's what's been happening. I mean, right from the get-go, when they didn't close down just tourism. I mean, look into
tourism,
how much
travel, that sort of travel.
Look into how much that would have cost to just shut down for a while. Shut down tourism.
Maybe 9% of the world economy, I think that's what they say, tourism.
And we're losing now and have lost, and what we're going to lose.
And we haven't seen what's happened with the second wave.
No.
It might be very
exciting.
exciting.
This isn't the second wave. This is not the second wave. We are being told that this is, but all this is a vitamin D reduction. And so we're less immune. We have less immunity right now. And we will have less immunity for the whole winter. So
yeah, it's going to get worse.
What are the numbers like now? Well, what are they going to be like in March?
They're setting records in Ontario for daily increases. Yeah. That's worse than this spring. Quebec has gotten it very high, and I don't know what's going to happen in the United States. Let's say it is a second wave. Someone was saying 2/3 when you get a second wave, 2/3 of the deaths, fatalities, or at least the infections, let's say it's the deaths, are in the second wave. That means the United States is facing some total 200 million dead, 200,000 I should say, plus twice that, which is 400,000, which is 600,000 dead, which is more than 500,000. It's insane. Well, what can I say? I think that's the number of people that died in World War II. And that was in 4 years. Whereas this would be something like a little over 1 year, something like that, 1 year, something like that. It's absolutely crazy. Incidentally, Trump, if you're watching, don't get well anytime soon, okay?
He will not be watching. And
I hope not.
mean, really, if you were watching yesterday's blog post video, I got a little bit upset with James about getting angry in the blog post and calling people stupid and whatever. And just because, yeah, but the people I'm trying to reach out to are amiable people. And they believe that they're stupid. And it doesn't help they're not stupid. They are natural learners. They are the best at learning and working with a smile. So all they need is a little bit of permission to go ahead and learn. They're amiable people. A lot of the time they are used and persuaded to do things by aggressive people that are not, it's not within their nature and it's not in their best interest. But if left to their own devices, a lot of them, once they're done working their 60 hours of work week and somehow managing to make meals and keep the laundry washed and ironed and house spotless, and I don't know how they do it, then what they do in their off time is read. They find reading a recreational activity. That's a pleasure for them to do that. And if more people read, if more people spent time reading, then it would be a great thing. So I really want to, I'm trying to encourage a revolution of the mind by mobilizing amiable people, persuading them to actually spend their time reading rather than working for aggressive people to meet their aims, which are not helping society and are not helping amiable people now and in the future. They're starving their own children by following aggressive people. And I want to encourage them to switch from the fiction that they're using to relax in the evening to a little more non-fiction in the morning when they're at their best, when they're most alert and they really want to start the day and learn a lot. Just try that. Try a little bit of non-fiction in the morning. And amiable people, you are not stupid. You are gentle and kind and wonderful by nature. And if more people in the world were amiable, it would be a better place. If more people were passive than aggressive, then we could have paradise here on earth. But anyway, so that's all. That's why I got upset with James, is I just don't want amiable people to feel like they're stupid, like he's talking to them.
Was I?
No, but I don't want them to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand you're trying to talk to people, aggressive people, and call them stupid, but I don't think they're going to watch and they're not going to learn.
Sometimes I just feel as though I've got to vent. I'm getting really sick and tired of I'm going to call it what it is. It's stupidity. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know what percentage of the people who expressed support, it got up after the Republican convention, got up to 46%. How much of that is actually amiable people going along?
Well, yeah, I know. Like my sister, I'm not supposed to talk about my sister.
Yeah, it's best not.
Okay. Anyway, I mentioned that it was her. So, but this could happen to a lot of people. A lot of people out there are buying things online. They don't know where they're coming from. They're buying on, giving their bank payment information, whatever, their address, their name, by buying things online, and they're buying them from places like China. And then all of a sudden, or they don't know where they're coming from. They're giving people their information, and then so my sister, she was buying a lot of stuff from the dollar stores, and then she realized she could get things even cheaper, like other things that she couldn't get at the dollar store, for like glasses for really cheap with, or whatever, online. And so she was buying lots and lots of stuff online that way, and saving lots of money rather than going to retail outlets.
She bought a lot of stuff for us.
She did.
Much
She's
appreciated.
very generous. Mm-hmm. She's a very sweet, wonderful, amiable person. And so anyway, she was buying all these things, and then she was stressed out because she was apparently a bunch of email accounts and stuff like that, or whatever, had been created in her name and stuff like that, and she was having to try to fix some cyber stuff that had been done, that not by her, but
No.
And she didn't know where it was coming from. And I was just thinking, well, it's obvious where it's coming from. I mean, you've given them all your information, right? So anyway, but people don't think about things like this. And we watched this video, Machine, and it's an okay documentary. It gives you just a very basic overview of what's going on with artificial intelligence, and but it doesn't give you enough information. So really, I had learnt probably as much when we went to a public professors thing.
That was actually a pretty good
It was
public professor.
Yeah, it was. The instructor did a good job talking about the issues, and like the same example with the cats' faces. The computer being able to recognize cats' faces, but nothing else. It couldn't recognize dogs' faces, but it could tell a cat. So the program. Anyway, it's the interesting thing about the public professors thing, besides the content, the instructor did a good job, was the people who were there. And one person was talking about, he was a friend of yours that did computer science stuff from Russia. And
very nice
he
guy.
was, yeah, and he said, unplug it. That was his, he recognized what was happening. He knew where this was going. And honestly, as much as I might get something out of making these blog posts somehow, and you might get something out of, like, I don't get any money out of doing it. I just, I guess I have a sense that I'm in the world, even though I don't communicate with anyone else. Like, I haven't seen my mother or anyone from my family in over a year now.
Yep.
So it helps that way, right?
Without COVID, we would have been traveling up north.
But I don't know if I'll get to see them again. I don't know if I'll get to see a lot of them again because of COVID, and I don't know if COVID will clear up. I can't really risk, for all I know, I might have it, I might spread it to them, or they might have it, they might spread it to us. And so anyway, I don't know. It does help that way. We get a sense that, oh, well, maybe my sister, who I mentioned, might get lonely one day, and she might turn on this video. And, well, hello, and it's good to see you, and maybe she'll not be so upset that I mentioned her because I care about her. But
well, you didn't script the mention, so it was inadvertent. And it basically means we think of her. So.
Yes. And, but anyway, the fact of the matter is, much of what you can get online, are you ready for when it just all has to be shut down? Because you don't know who's watching. And I don't know who's watching. And although we might have totally amiable intentions, others do not. And
many others.
Yeah. So it will come to the point where it'll all have to be shut down. And what do you have saved? I mean, basically, are the books getting burnt? Are they rotting away in landfills? What do you have saved for when it all needs to be shut down? Right now, you can get all sorts of things. You can get apps for your phone, so somebody can click in and know where you are at all times, and you don't know it. They're providing this service for you, and there you are, your little GPS coordinates and whatever are right there with you, and they can listen in on you on the microphone on the phone without you knowing. I mean, if there's any kind of two-way communication, you're vulnerable to. So, and you have that with you all the time. You're probably taking that with you on a hike to the middle of nowhere. So, who knows, if somebody else is hiking and they want to listen to them, they might listen through your phone just to get to hear somebody else who's on a path a little further up or something. You don't know. And anyway, artificial intelligence, I can conceive of a 1200 IQ or whatever they said in the video, and it's not hard to conceive of 12 average people who know different things. Somehow having all their expertise of the 12 different, you know what I mean? It's really not that hard to conceive of. So a 1200 IQ is not that impressive, really, or, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's good to have 12 people that have different skills and know different things, or experts in different, but how they were saying it doesn't, one person can see cats really well. One person can see the faces of dogs really well. And then, or whatever, and it's not a big deal. And, but mobilizing so many billions of people with so many different capabilities, now that's impressive. This is really, it's some fun kind of stuff. I mean, it gets people should be thinking about, well, what kind of jobs are completely replaceable by machines, and why wouldn't an employer want to have a machine rather than somebody who's going to be out in a protest against racism or anything in COVID times. I mean, that's, or I mean, at any time. It's, if you have somebody who's, the people who are wanted to be a part of the workforce, we were talking about it, how when capitalism, like industry, got really on the move in Britain and stuff, they wanted to hire women and children. And actually, if you think about it, you can look at factories around the world now in different places, and still they want to, who's sewing your Nike shoes or whatever, it's going to be women and children, or right?
They've always preferred it that way,
yeah,
because they're more tractable.
Exactly. So,
in other words, they're easier to push around. Tractable is one of those words that kind of hide.
So those are the people that are wanted for labor in the workforce, are amiable people. They're very reliable, and they don't cause trouble. They just do what they're told, and they're happy with it. If you show them just a little bit of positive feedback, like anything, they're thrilled. They feel really appreciated, and it makes me feel sad because I see how badly they're used. But anyway, you were going to talk some more about the secret man, so I'll let you do that. But amiable people, don't tune off. He's not talking when he gets angry and stuff. Don't don't think it's directed at you. It's not.
It's directed at yellows
Yeah.
and reds. There might be some amiable people that want to be yellows and reds. And stuff
Yeah,
like that.
well, there's some that might be confused about,
There
they're
are people that are,
manipulated by the
that,
yellows. A lot of people
more
get
towards the
manipulated.
center or stuff like that.
Yeah,
And,
or
well,
people are susceptible to marketing and advertising, and yellows are really good at it, and they're trying to.
sell themselves too.
So
Yesterday I was trying to emphasize that there's been a huge failure in the Republican Party in the United States. I mean, within the administration, like even within the Trump administration, they should have been trying to bring him down. I mean, what's happened in the United States? He was going to make America great again. Wow, that's amazing. So he's brought down the life expectancy during the Spanish flu in the United States, according to one report I ran across, went down. Yeah? And the death rate wasn't that much higher. Well, the death rate was higher. The total death, I should be careful. The death rate would have been significantly higher. But I think we'll see a significant drop, particularly if there's a second wave, in the life expectancy. We've seen the economy go kaput. We've seen a stock market crash. I don't know if there's going to be another one. Usually
This
stock
year,
market, with the what they're calling the second wave. So the economy's gone kaput. The deficit's gone up. Debts have gone up. Debts that will be, like if Biden gets in, I'm afraid the Republicans will do what they did after 1991 and after 2008. Hey, what are you Democrats going to do about settling the debt crisis and the deficit crisis? Hey, they're not the ones who made it. They're not the ones who made it. But that's what's happened twice before, and I'm afraid it's going to happen again. Biden will get in, and you get the Republicans, hey, we've got a huge deficit. Huge debt. What are you going to do about it? Don't get fooled by it. Voters, please. You've been fooled twice, the majority of you. And Clinton, for example, what did he do about it? He went out and he balanced the budget, stuff like that. And then what happens, instead of being loyal to the Democrats for doing that and voting for Al Gore, Al Gore's an idiot, but he's an idiot that means well. And, he's only relatively an idiot. I mean, compare him with Donald Trump, he comes across as a raving genius. So instead of voting him in, they give him like a 500,000 majority or edge over Bush, and that's enough for Bush to cheat in Florida, or his brother to cheat for him in Florida, and get him elected. And then they vote. They actually give him a majority in 2004, although I suspect if there hadn't been significant cheating in Ohio, Bush would have